everybody. I saw Susan, a little poet, do a video on how she quit smoking. She was doing, I'm sorry, I'm looking down at my notes because you know me, I'll forget otherwise. She was doing a collab with Elle at Sensational After 60. Every time I read that I want to go, good night Jim Bob, good night Ellen. Anyway, Susan and Ellen did a collab about how they quit smoking, and Susan did it as a tag. So I've written her questions down and I'm going to try and follow those. So it's, when did you start and when did you have your last cigarette? I started when I was 16 because I was stupid. The girls that I hung around with at school, they smoked and I didn't. It never tempted me then. I don't know why. But I used to hang around with them all the time, and then one day when I was babysitting I thought, oh, I'll give this a go. So I bought a packet of cigarettes, which you could do back then because they sold them to anybody and they cost pennies. And once I got the kids to sleep and that, it was in a smoker's house, by the way. I wouldn't have smoked in a non-smoker's house. But once I got the kids to bed, I had a cigarette and I felt terrible, like everybody does. I had a whitey, I thought I was going to throw up. I couldn't breathe and I thought, oh, I'm allergic. I can't be, I mustn't be able to smoke. But like a fool, I kept trying and eventually I did. So I had my last cigarette on the 9th of September. Oh, 9 years ago. When was that? 9 off of 15. 2006? Yes. I had my last cigarette on the 9th of September 2006 because I'd got diagnosed with diabetes. I just thought that's the 9 years on the 9th of the 9th, 999, and it wasn't an emergency. How much did you smoke? Oh God. I'd do 20 a day with no trouble, and then if I was going out of a night I'd buy another 20, and no doubt I'd smoke other people's as well and probably buy some more on the way home. I remember when Jed and I were at Butlins, we used to have a packet each of Royals, because they did Royals at Butlins and there was 25 in a pack instead of 20, which was cool. So we'd have a packet of them during the day, and then we'd buy 2 packets going out of a night, or sometimes 3, and then, pardon me, we'd still need more than likely, or we'd be buying some straight away the next morning. So a lot. Too many. Did your parents smoke? My gran didn't. My mum did, but I don't think my mum smoked properly. I don't think she inhaled them at all. She was like a type of smoker. So although she had cigarettes in the house and that, I don't think she was a proper smoker, no. How many times did I try to quit? I don't know, 4, 5, 6 maybe. I remember one time I took it really seriously. I was at a different doctor's to the one I'm at now, and I was doing really well, and then I was going mad and I thought, oh no, so I had a fag. And then when I went in to see the doctor, he said, how's the no smoking going? I was like, oh, I was going to kill somebody, I was going to throw someone out the window. So I said I needed a cigarette. So he said, well, have a cigarette and then start again. And I was like, what? He said, having another cigarette doesn't make you a smoker. If you feel like you're going to kill somebody, have a cigarette and then wait until you want to kill somebody again and have another cigarette and keep doing that, and you'll find that the time between wanting to kill somebody and having a cigarette will get longer and longer and longer, and eventually you're not smoking. And it was like, how clever, because you immediately think, right, I'm giving up, I'm not going to smoke, and then you have one and you think, oh, that's it, I've messed it up, I can't do it now. But who's to say you can't? Which I thought was a really good idea. What reason finally made you want to quit? Jed quit when we had Kaylee. He smoked much more than me, and he decided he wasn't smoking, and he just said no one day, and that was it, and it was fine, and he never smoked again. But I enjoyed smoking. I used to like having a cigarette with a coffee and sitting in the garden having 5 minutes to myself or whatever. So what it was I had the fibro, and the more the fibro kicked in and the less active I was being, the more weight I put on, and then I got diagnosed with diabetes. Now, if I didn't have fibro, I wouldn't have had diabetes, but hey ho. So when I got diabetes, I started reading about it, and it was like, I really shouldn't be smoking with this. So I said seeing Kaylee and Travis grow up was more important than having a fag, so I'm going to quit. Didn't want to, I really didn't want to, because I enjoyed it. But I got some nicotine tablets, nicotine gum, and I did with them what the doctor said. I went cold turkey until I thought I was going to kill someone, and then I'd have a piece of gum, and then do the same again, and it ended up I had 6 pieces of gum out of the packet, and I've never smoked since. So it wasn't easy. I'm not going to say it was easy. It wasn't, but I was determined that that time was the time. I think once you've made your mind up that you're done, you have to have made your mind up, I think. Sorry, I need a drink. You have to decide when, and then you will. Did you use an aid? Right, yeah, nicotine gum, which is horrible, by the way. Did you gain weight? No, I actually didn't. I've been the same weight for years now. Whether I've tried to, no matter what I eat, like when I first found out I was diabetic and I cut all the sugar out of my diet and that, I didn't lose any weight. My blood sugar numbers went down, but I never lost any weight. And even now, where I'm not as active, no matter what I eat, I stay the same weight. It's ridiculous. I've tried all sorts of diets and nothing works. I just stay exactly the same weight. So, but no, I don't think I did put any weight on. I think it was the diabetes that put the weight on me, or the lack of movement. What is life like now I'm a non-smoker? I don't stink, for one. I think Jed came up and he's just gone down again. I don't cough, I don't have a sore throat. Every year I'd have bronchitis or tonsillitis or something. I don't smell. Fingers aren't brown. And I don't get out of the house much now, but if you go somewhere where you're eating and then you want a cigarette, you have to go outside and have a cigarette. You can't relax and have one inside. And plus, because I'm stuck in here now, if I was smoking, I'd have to go downstairs every 20 minutes or whatever and go out in the back garden, and it was no. So I'm glad I stopped. I do miss it though. How hard is it to stay quit? It isn't. I think once you get past the craving stage, and if you stay away from smokers if you can. I mean, it's easier now, but back in the day, if you went in the pub, everyone was smoking, but at least now nobody's smoking. Pardon me, I must stop drinking fizzy drinks when I'm filming. Yeah, if you don't go to places where people are smoking, it's a lot easier to stay quit. So if you hang around no smokers or people that have quit until you feel comfortable enough to be able to face it, then it is quite easy. I mean, I remember you never think you smell, do you? Sadly, my son's just started smoking, and my husband caught him. He went into the room and caught him blowing smoke out the window. And when he came in here and he told me, my blood ran cold and my heart just dropped to my stomach, and I could have cried. I still can. And it's like, no! All the years growing up, he kept saying how much it stunk and he hated it, and what were we doing? We were stupid, and da-da-da-da-da, and he was never going to smoke when he grew up, and blah 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 blah, and now he is. And can I get him to stop? Can I bog roll? So I'm just praying that he comes to his senses sooner rather than later. I don't want him to be smoking for as long as I was and having that fight to give up. I really don't. But sometime around the time he started smoking, I started craving cigarettes. Now, I don't know if that's because I could smell it off of him, or sometimes Yankee candles or Yankee melts at the end smell like a cigarette, and I don't know why. So it could have been then. So I was craving something chronic, And it's not like I was going to go and buy a packet, but it was like it was on my mind, and I was thinking about it all the time. So I thought I'd try an e-cig, and they're really quite good actually. So I've got one. It's got no 0 milligrams of nicotine in it, no nicotine in it, and it's the fun part of smoking without the bad bits. The only problem I have is there's 2 different types of e-juice that you put in them. One's vegetable glycerin based, and the other one is propol something or another. I'm not so keen on that one. I like the vegetable based one, but I think it's putting my numbers up, so I may have to stop doing that. But while I can at the moment, that's fun. I'm enjoying it. Proudest moment. I haven't got a proudest moment. The fact that I stuck to it and I actually stopped. And any advice? Only what I said earlier, you know, if you're trying to quit and you think you're going to kill somebody and you have a cigarette, don't think you failed. Have that cigarette, enjoy it, put it out, start again, and see how long it is before you need the next one. And those of you out there that are thinking, oh, you know, I can get away with a sneaky cig and tell my other half I've quit and eat a mint and no. It doesn't work. Since my son started smoking, he smells like a walking ashtray, and there's no way he could come in and say, oh, I haven't been smoking, because you can smell it. And it's funny, when you're smoking you don't smell it at all. I never did. And I used to think, oh, my mum will never know I'm smoking. Maybe I was lucky because she did smoke, so there would have been that smell in the house and maybe she didn't notice it. But if your parents are non-smokers, they're going to know you're smoking. So don't start. That would be my advice. Don't start smoking, then you won't have to stop. I think I've done all the questions. I'm going to leave Susan's and Mary Ellen's link to their video in the box below, and the questions that Susan did as a tag. And if you're trying to quit, it is hard. You will miss it. You may put on weight, but you can lose the weight. Start something else. I don't know, start knitting or cross stitch or something to keep your hands and your brain occupied for the first few weeks while you're getting over it. And like I said, if you're out there and you don't smoke now, don't start. Thanks everyone, see you in my next video. Bye.